Evening all, welcome back to Space Engineers. Right, here we go. So this is the continuation of our glorious self-automated building thingamajig. And yeah, it's working quite well. I've got to admit, my little hangar deck is looking pretty awesome. I just thought I'd give you a bit of a better view. But let's just see it. So as we rotate this, look at that, isn't it amazing? And then in it goes, bunk. And then in theory, this should build a bit easier now. Now, to be honest, it's not the... Again, I'm noticing it's still not quite right. To be honest, the three-dimensional crane probably would be better. So that would be three rotors, one on the ground to go, I guess, X direction. You then have one for Y, and then you'd have maybe the third one to do a rotation, if that makes sense. And that probably makes a lot more sense because you can actually then use it effectively as a proper crane, to be honest. You mustn't forget centers of gravities. That does become quite important. It's worth mentioning that. But there we go. It's that torque thing, I think. It's the brake force. So as that cockpit hits the bottom, it's that ability to kind of stop it. But look, there we go. That worked perfectly. All I did was set the inclination angle there to 90 degrees so that it wouldn't go beyond 90 degrees, and that spun around beautifully. So let's just do it the other way. And then we just reverse that, and then it should go back to the top, and then we just need to set it back to, yep, that worked nice. And then we just set it to minus 90 degrees on the upper limit. I think it may be lower limit, I'm not sure. We'll have a look. Let's see how that looks. There we go. Yeah, that's worked perfectly. Again, simple stuff. It's all automated. The materials are being sucked from the cargo cans themselves. Oh, I just get to sit in my captain's chair and watch this happen. This is glorious. I love it. I really love it. I think please consider building a hangar deck like this because it is extraordinary fun what you can do with this game. I also thought about it is that on the other side, maybe we do a much bigger hangar deck, and on the other side we have a series of grinders. So actually, if we don't like what it's built, we'll just put it into the crane and then it grinds it away. I like that as well. I think I'm quite sold on that as a premise as well. So you'd have full recycling effectively of the vehicles. So I'm just noticing there again, we're kind of the cockpit's kind of catching on the welders. That's not so good, but I guess because we've used the velocity very slowly, it doesn't seem, yeah, the torque probably is the important bit because there's not a great deal of spinning torque. It's not damaged it, it's not wrenched it off, so that's probably worth bearing in mind. Torque is turning power, so if you have it a low torque, then if it hits something, it will just stop, rather than if it's got a high torque, when it hits something, it will keep trying to push through it, so it will break it eventually. Oh my god, that's a proper bit of engineering. Gosh, that takes me back to to my time at university. Anyway, so what we have now is a vessel that's pretty much there. Now, again, I've kind of now look at it, I'm probably a bit, I didn't think about this too carefully, so I'm probably going to have to make a few adjustments. But again, I'd rather just make the few adjustments at the end rather than weld the whole bloody thing in total. So to be honest, I'm just blown away by this. This really does show me the kind of, I guess, the cleverness behind this game in general. Now, again, our little mining, well, not mining, it's our little kind of utility vehicle here is going to be modular. So we're actually going to have multiple module fits to put on it. So for example, the first one we're probably going to do is we're going to put a welder on it as well, with the ability to actually have materials in a cargo can. So the idea being there is we can properly fit this to be a bit of a, I guess, a small miner. I need that, to be honest, because I've got to admit, the Cyclops that I built is a lot of rubbish. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check previous videos. And everything else I've kind of built is a little bit impractical. So I'm kind of looking for a very small, compact, but tough little vehicle that I can even fly through the station. So I can actually kind of fly into the open space and actually use it within there. To be honest, we'll see how this one works. I still find the grinders, even the large ship and the large ship grinder and the large ship welder, takes so long to do their job. It is painful, and I wish there was a thing that could say, you know, the speed by which you build. You know, I would set it to an absolute maximum because I find spending most of my time just waiting for something to happen. And I know I want it to be realistic. Don't get me wrong, but I find sometimes it's a little too much. But yeah. There we go. Now look at this. You can even rotate it so you can work on the underneath. This is like the ultimate car tool. You know what I mean? It's like the ultimate car jack. This is just like amazing. I think this is what Formula 1 cars have in their garages. They have the ability to spin like this. So I've just copied their idea, really. So we're going to put some legs on it. I think this is pretty standard as a design. I don't think there's anything too special about this either. I think really I just wanted a solid modular ship, which is I think what we're getting here for certain, because again, often you can find that you can have some of the kind of really clever designs, but they don't really end up working generally. I've found that quite often, that the designs just aren't quite right, and you end up kind of having to go back and fix them, and I don't like that. That kind of bothers me. So let's just do the legs as we go back into our little view. We just then click reverse, and then that takes it in. Now I've just realized the power is on that ship, so that's probably causing a bit of conflict, but hey, it should be fine. And there we go, look at that, it's building everything left. So I think it will do the bottom two first, and I think it will do the top two when I rotate it, which is slightly annoying, I know, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I think the top ones don't seem to do anything, which is a slight shame. So what I thought I'd do, and this happened sometime after this footage certainly, is I built a crane, as I say, that actually had the ability to go up and down a bit as well, so you could angle it very slightly left and right, and it was a far superior way of doing it, I guess. I've got to admit, I love rotors though. I'm really sold on them now. I totally get them. They make perfect sense to me, and they are just amazing. They also, I think, are pretty reliable as well. I've got to admit, I'm quite chuffed that they do seem to work quite well. So there we go, look at that. That's now the underside getting done. It is lovely to not have to weld a single thing here. I know I've had to, but once you've got it perfected, you could have these kind of systems where they just continually make them. If you had if you even put copy paste into survival, which again I think you probably could get away with if you're kind of moderately minded, you could build the frame at least. So you've then got maybe 5 or 6 frames that you could then just build, load onto the crane and then build. I love that. I love that so much. I've got to admit, there's been some good stuff coming through with the latest releases as well, so we'll start to look at them I think soon, but I just had to show you this because to me this has been such a big breakthrough. It's just incredible what this game can do, and I think starting to slow down a bit though. I must admit my my triangles and my frames per second is getting a bit slow, so I'm going to have to look into that, but to be honest, it is pretty good. The station's pretty huge as well. One of the things I did actually think I would start doing is... Oh, it's not one of them. Oh, well, never mind. One of the things I want to start doing is actually taking away things now. I think there's too many guns, there's too many things, there's too many reactors. You don't need that many reactors. You don't need that many cargo cans. I think 2 cans and 2 reactors is all you need. Because otherwise it's just too much. It's overkill, I think. So I'm definitely going to look at stripping away some of the, I guess, the more pointless modules. I think I've got like 100 Gatling guns, which is pointless. Why have so many? So I think I'm going to start taking them down as well. To be honest, this is the first step of it though. It's building a little buggy utility vehicle that can actually do all of these things, and there we go, look at that, it's now finished. The base of it is complete. Quite chuffed with that. So join us next time as we look at the modules that we build to get this little modular mining utility vehicle complete. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.